Hey everybody, this is Ed. I was having an issue with my 2010 HHR yesterday. Put the air conditioning on and the car just wasn't running right. It seemed to be almost like bogging. There was hardly any power, and I had no check engine light codes or anything. So I put some high test gas in the car and it seemed a little bit better and stuff like that. But it had been a while since I had done any service on it because of COVID and stuff, and I decided to change the air filter. Going to clean the MAF sensor and clean the throttle body. So when I took the air filter off and stuff, and I cleaned the MAF sensor in the air filter housing, I decided to start to clean the throttle body. And as you can tell, they come off quite easy. There's 4 bolts, 10 millimeter. So I started to clean it with the cleaner, and this was before I took it off and stuff. And basically I just cleaned everything, sprayed it down, let it dry, started the car up, or at least tried to start the car up, and it would not run. It would idle up to about 2000. It was almost like missing, and then a few seconds later it would just die. And I was like going, what the heck happened here? And I was going crazy. It just would not idle correctly. It would just die. As soon as I turned the key, it would die. So I finally I called up my mechanic friend who does this for a living, and he said, yeah, probably something happened to the throttle body. He said, replace it. So I got a new Bosch throttle body, went to Advance, and picked one up last night because I needed my car for work. So I put the new throttle body in, which is, it's pretty straightforward, easy job to do. Plugged everything back together, started the car up, and it was doing the exact same thing. Would not run. And I was like going, I read some stuff online that you have to like reprogram the throttle body to the ECM and stuff, and I'm like going, oh great. So I saw some stuff where they said you got to get the car running for 3 to 4 minutes and do a procedure. I couldn't even get my car to idle for 10 seconds, never mind 3 minutes. So I was getting pretty irritated with the whole situation, and I said, it was getting late at night. So I called up my mechanic friend and I said, look at same thing's going on. I said, you're going to have to tow my car. So he said, okay. So I was getting ready to put everything away, and the thought came into my mind, because I remember reading on YouTube and stuff that the ECM has to learn or relearn what's going on. So I said, you know what? I'm going to disconnect the battery. So I disconnected the battery, waited for about 15 minutes, reattached the battery, and turned the key, and the car started and was running. It idled up to 2000, and then it slowly decreased to under 1000. And I had read online, I forget where, but there was a procedure to kind of train the ECM that you have a new module on it. So I let it run for 3 minutes. I shut it off for a minute, and then I let it run for 3 more minutes, and then I shut it off again. And then I decided to drive it around the block and stuff just to see how it was going and stuff. And it was running perfect. It was actually running really good, very peppy. I use this car for work, so I usually don't beat on it and stuff, but I could tell that there was a definite difference in the throttle response with the new throttle body. And so I started thinking about this, and on YouTube, they were talking about how there's such a buildup of carbon on these throttle bodies, and mine right here was just completely black. And it took me a good couple minutes of spraying and wiping to clean it up. And remember, I didn't take this off or anything like that. So if you look at the underside of it, you can see that there's more carbon there. And so that got me to thinking and stuff like that, because the real mechanics on YouTube were explaining that over the course of the time of the engine running and stuff like that, that it makes minute adjustments to compensate for the buildup of carbon in the throttle assembly. So I think what happened was, because I had cleaned it fairly well, that it had upset the ECM to the point where it just would not idle. And just by sheer luck, because I was desperate because I needed the car for work for today, I said, you know what, I've got to blank and erase that memory. So I disconnected the battery, waited for about 15 minutes, and then I put the battery and reconnected it, and the car's running great. So just a little FYI out there, if you do run into this situation where you replace the throttle body and it's just not running, it won't idle or anything like that, I would definitely disconnect the battery, give it about 15 minutes, and then reconnect it, and keep your fingers crossed, and hopefully that will take care of your issue. Because I talked to my mechanic friend, and he was telling me he's never had that problem. Usually he just replaces the throttle body and puts it on, and he's customer's off and driving. But I have a feeling mine was so dirty that it just threw the ECM completely off, and that's why it wasn't running correctly. And that's my 2 cents worth. Take it easy out there. Bye-bye.